Trey, we are now going to take people inside Gen Con. If you're listening, I want you to close your eyes.
I want to add
sit
one
back.
little...
No, Trey, no.
The voice you hear other than my smug tones will be our friend Matt Patterson. So he's kind of like my wingman in all of this. So when you hear the actual funny comments, that's from...
I'm sure Matt will sometimes be on the show. And usually when Trey is talking to says the name Matt, he's not talking about me, although there are a few times he is talking
Right,
about
it
me.
can be confusing. This is not Jewish Matt.
Right. Matt Patterson is not. I am Jewish Matt. He is not Jewish Matt. That's how we refer to each other in the game group.
It's still surprising to most people, however.
Yes. This is Trey's journey into Gen Con. It's about 15 minutes. It's very enjoyable. We may pop in every once in a while and pause, but
Your call.
We're going to try to let it run. Trey, take us to Gen Con.
Stardate, July 31, 2:09 p.m., Ronald Reagan Airport. Kitchen flight to Indianapolis, Gen Con. Got a gate full of nerds, board gamers, gamers of all type, ready to go geek out. Okay, update number 2. We're here at the Indianapolis Airport, waiting for our lift. We are benefiting from surge pricing. How much is it going to be?
This is going to cost at least a board game without an expansion set.
And we have to wait an additional 18 minutes in order to get picked up. I'm surrounded by hundreds of nerds waiting for their ride share. Not a good start. Okay, update number 3. We've checked into the downtown Marriott, Indianapolis, and we've been sitting in line for 5 minutes for the elevator to our room.
This is really probably the single most popular event on Wednesday. It's called Loadout. And what you do is you take all the games and everything that you brought, because clearly if you haven't brought at least 40 pounds of luggage, you're like the worst nerd. And that takes quite a bit of time to load out from the car and into your room. And there are fights.
It appears as if of a bank of 6 elevators, only 3 are operational, so more bad start here at Gen Con 2019. Gen Con update, Wednesday night, first night here. Everyone still has a lot of energy. No one's too tired yet. So we are walking to the Hyatt. Then we will go to the Marriott. We're dropping off an air mattress for your goddaughter, not stepdaughter, right? And then we're going to be meeting up with some other friends for some first night drunken stupidity. We just had drinks with Tim League, the creator of the Alamo Drafthouse movie theaters, and
the birth of a chain, and
Mondo Games.
Yeah, Mondo Games, specifically for this, a new venture for the Alamo Empire.
So we've just crossed the street. We're outside the convention center. Are we going to be going past the will call line where people will still be lined up?
Trey,
A half-mile line,
Trey,
probably still. Well, we'll see it from... No, we're fine.
I don't know, Trey, if you talked about really the most impressive bit of networking that you did, where you were invited to have a sauna with Tim League in the Los Angeles Athletic Club, which I think is the most impressive score of any kind of this convention.
How did I score that, Matt? I don't...
No, well, it could be. It's the same company that owns them, but I am a big fan. I was recently introduced to probably one of the. It's like the Overlook Hotel of athletic clubs, but for Los Angeles. It's like you've always worked out there, and Trey was invited to do sauna there with one of the big names in theatrical distribution. Trey, congratulations.
Yeah, we'll see if that still happens. We're now transitioning to our friend Dan O'Hanlon, the writer and designer of the Deep Space 10 series, LARPs here at Gen Con. Very popular.
Well, I will be in about a day and a half. Hopefully I will have finished it by then.
That's right. We've just found out that Dan, it's Wednesday night here at Gen Con. His event's on Friday, and he has not completed writing the LARP. How typical is that, Dan?
This will be the second of 3 times that it's happened.
And for some reason, you like telling everyone that the LARP is not yet completed. Is this a way of lowering expectations so that we're surprised when we have a good time?
No, it's specifically to try to shame myself into not up next year, which this is not going to succeed next year either.
It never does work.
It will never work.
Because it's not as if you're going to stop having a good time and actually do some work tonight, or will you? Will you ruin your own fun in order to protect your artistic integrity?
My goal is to actually get up earlier than everybody else tomorrow and finish it.
That sounds like a terrible plan.
Well, what's fun is that eventually it won't be a terrible plan. It'll just be...
Because next year you'll be on top of it.
Oh, no. Goodness, no. I'm going to keep on rolling up this...
I thought this was the lie you would tell yourself.
I'm going to keep rolling this LARP up this hill like Sisyphus until I get there, damn it.
Deep Space 10 has nothing to do contractually with Deep Space Nine in any way.
Look, we must imagine the GMs to be happy.
Wednesday night, signing out. Okay, Matt, what time is it?
It is exactly 10 a.m.
It's exactly 10 a.m. We are waiting for the doors to open, and we are nowhere near them. So this is going to be ugly.
I think it should take about 3 days to get into the dealer's room. And we each have 16-ounce coffees. I have some energy bars. Trey, what supplies did you bring?
I've already consumed my energy bars and one full coffee, but is our thinking that the doors will actually open at 10, or will we stand here like idiots for a lot longer?
I think that this is more going to be a 10-15 situation. However, I remembered that I brought my 10-foot pole, and I think this can get us...
I have my Lucerne hammer.
Oh, you do?
And 50 feet of rope.
Oh. Yeah, 10-foot pole is all you need.
So this is not looking good for Matt's wish list for board games at this time. Okay, our predictions were wrong. We're moving. No, that was an illusion. It was just the crowd compacting. More updates to come. Okay, this is Game Brain.
Pause right here. I think Trey wanted to explain something that's about to happen here.
Okay, so we're standing outside the
Yeah, set
dealer
the scene,
hall.
Trey,
And
set
so
the
if you want to go
scene.
like YouTube and enter in like doors opening Gen Con 2019, this is a massive rush of people to get into the dealer
Probably,
hall.
honestly, about 30, 40,000 people.
It's tens of thousands of
Yeah,
people,
tens of thousands.
and a number of titles will disappear within the first 15 minutes
Everybody
of the convention.
stands in a giant crowd waiting for the doors to open, and then they pour in and run in order to get in line.
Lots
for
of
2
limited
hours.
things that you can only get and will sell out immediately. And while we're waiting there, we look to our right, and there is an adorable woman dressed as a suffragette.
This is Game Brain Podcast. And please tell me what you're cosplayed as.
I'm cosplayed as a Victorian Londoner suffragette.
So you are a British suffragette. You are not an American. So you're not playing a specific woman here. You are just a woman who wants to vote in the British parliamentary system. So how's it going so far?
It's going pretty well. We're rioting around.
Right. So how long until you actually get the vote?
I have no idea. We just started.
Okay. Way to stay in character. I'm very impressed. Sorry for making you break.
What is that? Yeah, no. Yeah.
So did you make this costume yourself?
No, I didn't.
Am I wrong to refer to it as a costume?
No, I actually did use it in a play, so that's where it's from.
What play were you in which you played a British suffragette?
Yes, suffragette, yeah. I was in a school play, actually, and I was one of the villains in this costume.
A suffragette was the villain, or this? What kind of play was this?
Poisoner?
It was a Sherlock Holmes.
Oh.
It's a Sherlock Holmes play.
In which the villain is a woman who wants to vote. This sounds awful. How did you agree to do such a horrible project?
Well, okay, so here's the backstory. So Moriarty is still in it, so he's the main villain, obviously. So I was working for Moriarty. My disguise was being a suffragette.
Oh, I see. So you're a faker suffragette. Got it.
But
Right.
what if she accidentally, as the villain, forwarded the cause for women the right to whip for...
So what if you accidentally got women the right to vote?
I'm pretty sure I did accidentally. I had a pretty good speech.
Thank you very much.
Trey, I'm pausing real quick there. How much cosplay do we see at Gen Con?
You see a lot in the convention hall, especially because there's a space specifically for it where you
Right.
can go and be photographed. And then
Now, Gen Con is a board game convention, so are people...
it's a game convention.
It's a game.
Board games
But
is
are people... Yeah, that's true. That's just a part of it. You're right.
just part
Are
of it.
people cosplaying game characters mainly? Because this person
Some.
was just cosplaying a historical figure.
she just had a costume from a play.
Right. No, I mean, people. It's fun to put on cosplay and go to conventions.
It's not Comic-Con.
Right.
But it is
It's not a lot
Comic-Con
of, like,
light,
superheroes.
and there will be serious cosplayers doing their serious cosplay thing. There will be, I think there's a contest.
Right. No, definitely, yeah. But is it It's not like you don't see like Superman walking around and like.
You do.
Oh, really? There's superhero stuff too.
Yeah, but it will be more fantasy
A
concentrated.
lot of Overwatch, maybe. I'm guessing. Didn't see a lot of Overwatch, huh?
No, but I don't actually spend that much time in the convention center because of my LARP centric. We'll get to that later, but no. And then there's LARPers themselves who are in costume for their games,
Right.
So
They're
that's
on their way
different.
there.
But you won't see them in the convention hall. Whereas you'll see plenty of people walking around in the convention hall buying games, completely costumed and stopping, and people taking pictures of them. So it is Comic-Con light, in that regard.
Well, her costume sounded awesome.
We can throw a picture up on the website.
Oh, great.
Didn't I send you one? Or
No.
I will. Okay.
You will.
We have a picture here.
Awesome.
All right, once again, we're moving towards
Show
the doors.
notes.
That doesn't mean the doors have actually opened. This could just be people being crushed by eager people. Possibly the doors have opened. It seems possible. We're moving.
Oh, the humanity.
Matt Robinson's dreams of getting Black Angel live or die in the next 5 minutes. Okay, here's the problem. In the act of jamming the recorder into my bag and pulling it out again, I managed to switch the input on the recorder from the built-in mic to the 2 external line inputs. I think you know where this is going. There were no external inputs, so the rest of the segments I recorded from Thursday are blank. That means that my interview with Raymond Chandler III, the designer of City of Big Shoulders, does not exist. My interview with Matthew Fox, the co-designer of Mega City Oceana, does not exist. I should have noticed that I was not getting levels on the recorder, but I was in full fanboy mode, and I was paying attention to the games and to the designers of the games that I did not notice that I was not getting levels on the recorder. So I have to reconstruct for you now the moment of abject horror and dread that I experienced, not when I learned that I had deleted these or not recorded these interviews, but when I saw the line that existed in order to enter the Asmodee store. This line was not just long, it encircled the Asmodee store pretty much a full 300 degrees and then completely ran all the way up one of the rows for the entire width of the convention floor. So of the 220 copies that were supposedly available for the game on Thursday morning, and supposedly for the entire con, only about 100 copies remained mere 10 minutes after the doors had opened, and to get to this line would have been conservatively an hour. I had to run a game at 2. It wasn't happening. All hope was lost. Matt's dream had died. Okay, here's the Gen Con update for Thursday. Ran my event Toil and Trouble. Went very well. This was like running a 6-person LARP for 6 different groups. Only one person didn't show up, and I had booked 37, so that happened.
Let's pause real quick there. What is your Toil and Trouble LARP, Trey?
Okay, so I'm part of, we've done some events at Gen Con before. Iocane Productions, you go to Facebook, type in Iocane Productions, like Iocane Powder from
Princess Bride.
We did a bunch of Battlestar Galactica LARPs. We did a bunch of Game of Thrones LARPs. Don't have time to write LARPs for this year, especially because I was the only one going. No Tom, no Mark now.
You guys usually all do it together.
That's right. But I wanted to kind of curate a game that I had played and knew that the people who had done our LARPs in the past would really like, and this was
somebody else wrote this LARP, and you were going to GM it in a sense.
That's right, but it's a LARP for 6 people, and instead I ran it for 36 people. So
like
it's
6 pods.
That's right, like 6 shards of the same game, all running pretty much in the same time in relatively the same space. And it went really well. It's really well written LARP. The whole thing plays out in just 90 minutes. And then I thought it might be a problem that everybody was kind of like on top of each other, and then we would have kind of a common debrief. But that turned out to be a little bit of actually a positive, because everyone got to hear how the game went differently in each of these 6 instances, and
that's fun.
And we got really different results depending on
it's like Groundhog's Day.
Or just like different players produce very different
Sure.
results that were very interesting.
Different timelines.
One of the options in this game, the concept behind this game is it's kind of Macbethy. 3 witches, 3 heroes, and the witches are going to conduct a ritual to determine which of these heroes will be king of the land, which of these heroes will be happy, one of these heroes is going to die. And then the king makes a bunch of decisions about things that happen in the land that can affect the witches. And there's a very good chance, depending on how things go, that the witches will establish a witchtocracy that overthrows the government. So
Right.
they're trying to start a civil war or a peasant uprising that can make conditions, ripe for a witch uprising. And
That's an
in 2
awesome
out of 6
theme.
games, the witches did indeed conquer.
Nice. That's amazing. All right. Just wanted to give a little brief explanation of that. We're back.
Then Matt and I participated in the Casablanca, here's looking at you, Squid, Cthulhu game. The highlight of my game was attempting to get in.
Okay, sorry, what?
Okay, there's-
what? Say that again?
Maybe not Cthulhu game, but
Casablanca Cthulhu?
Okay, so everyone's familiar with the movie Casablanca.
Sure.
Our friends at MU Skulls tend to run Cthulhu LARPs or Lovecraft LARPs are a big genre within LARPing
Right.
because
it's like the Arkham horror theme.
it's
right?
the Arkham horror theme, but it's
Lovecraftian.
But it's especially liberating because these are all one shots. You're not leveling up your character. You're not you're not a vampire trying to gain more power. In these games, typically you are going to die or go insane or have your soul consumed. And so that can be liberating from a place point of view. But this particular one, they've run a very successful number of years ago, Titanic Lovecraft LARP, where the explanation for why the Titanic sank is that it was, dragged down by, an elder god,
Right.
rather than an iceberg.
Right.
And it had some very clever mechanics where the first half of the game was played on the ship, and then the second half of the game is when we're in a room, which is replacing lifeboats, where we're all slowly drowning, except for the people who have chairs.
Right, right.
And there's not enough chairs
Sure.
to go around, and everyone's insane. But this is kind of like taking Casablanca and then throwing in a Nazi plot and cultist plot to free some elder gods.
I see. Okay. Got it. All right. Coming back.
Into fisticuffs with Rick and being actually physically injured by a member of the French Vichy police who attempted to intercede and ended up cutting my nose open with his nail. So that's why we don't ever even pretend to do violence in a LARP. Isn't that right, Matt?
I now know what that mark is on your nose.
That's right. I was fake slapping Rick at Rick's Cafe American, and the police interceded. I was playing a... you didn't realize that's what happened. And I didn't understand until later that I had a big thing of blood up.
Does this make any sense to you, Matt? At all?
You were fake slapping someone at Rick's
This
Cafe.
is my friend Chad McAllister, and we have a long-running tradition of insulting one another in LARPs. It's really what Chad wants to do most of all, and so generally one of us will
He has
have
like a jerk fantasy. He wants to be like a jerk.
Yeah, pestering people through character.
Right.
And so we have a long tradition, for example, of like having a white glove and
I see.
drawing
Yeah.
across
D'Artagnan.
exactly,
Yeah.
and taking great offense and challenging each other to duels in which both people tend to be humiliated.
And he accidentally cut your nose. And
He did not. He did
oh.
not. That's the thing is that it's a third person did not understand that we had established this as something that we do. So when I kind of swiped my hand just as a gesture of like as if I'm slapping you in the moment, being in character, he was protecting Rick, and so he threw his hand out violently to stop me. And when he threw his
Whoa.
hand out, that's what ended up like hitting me in the face.
Wait, this person thought you were about to assault him?
And he didn't think about it. It was just that's the thing.
Was
That's
he
the
like in the
dangerous
army
thing
or something? He had
don't
like
know.
lightning fast reflexes.
He-
and like,
he did.
He
He
like
got-
stopped
he got me
a
good.
slap mid-slap? That's hard to do.
This is a semi-serious topic here, which is that when you are playing LARPs, you emotionally get very involved.
Right, but
so
never
you're,
physically. Right.
That's why you have to be not physical, because your barriers for doing physical things are gone.
Right.
Right. That's why it has to be explicit, no violence.
You never touch somebody else in a LARP.
You're not supposed to, but
Right.
it happens all the time.
Right.
It's a problem. You want to prevent things like if we have mechanics in which I can shoot you, you don't want people grabbing the gun out of
Yeah,
your hand,
yeah,
as that
sure.
happened to me this year. And it was fine, but it's just like this is because LARP, you get very emotionally in,
Yeah.
you can screw up.
Yeah.
And people can get hurt, and it's happened
Gotcha.
emotionally too.
Oh, yeah.
On the end of my nose. That's great. LARPing should not be physical, people. I played Nazi German rocket scientist Werner von Braun, and at the conclusion of this game, America will not be developing a space program. Matt, what was the highlight of your day yesterday?
Well, I was the Peter Lorre character in that. And but unlike the movie Casablanca, where Peter Lorre died in the first 10 minutes, I weaseled my way to living until I was consumed by maggots at the very end. So I consider that an accomplishment because his character got 2 extra days to live, but usually hiding from the police and selling out his friends. Then I think my second favorite thing on yesterday was the part that I had totally forgot, which was us going and recording this podcast on the floor, which I swear to myself was the night before.
Yeah, we've got kind of like a time loss going on in our head. All right, here's the plan for today. We are going to be participating in a Deep Space 10 LARP. And then this evening we're in a kind of odd American pre-Revolutionary War Harry Potter LARP. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, again, I have to break in. At this point on Friday, Matthew Robinson had received my text message about the great interviews I had recorded of Raymond Chandler III and Matthew Fox, and he was excited about what a great job I was doing, and Matthew messaged me that I should go back to the convention hall and go ahead and buy the City of Big Shoulders expansion, which I hadn't bought because I didn't think we needed it, but now Matt wanted it because it was limited, and it was all the special Kickstarter stuff that makes Matt so excited. But he also messaged me that Asmodee had received a second pallet of Black Angel on Friday morning. So somehow I saw this first message about the expansion, but not the second one about Black Angel. And so on Friday, I did not go and buy a copy of Black Angel. And again, for the second time, the game sold out. Okay, Saturday morning update. We're going to have trouble making our 1 o'clock event. Got back to the room about 5 last night.
Yeah, we were board gaming.
The highlights of yesterday included Deep Space 10, in which my half Betazoid Rear Admiral of the Federation was pretty much the only survivor of the invasion of Cardassia. Yeah. Both my 2 ex-Klingon lovers and my daughter from my first marriage were killed in the invasion. Matt, any highlights for you?
I don't think I told you this earlier, Trey, but my Mirror Universe character was about to steal your starship.
So good game. Our second game was an odd Harry Potter LARP set in a pre-Revolutionary War America.
1794 pre-Revolutionary War, which confused me to no end.
I played a British professor who's trying to put down rebellion and failing, a real jerk.
And I was a student who was really into Quidditch, but I kept pronouncing it with the American pronunciation, and I kept getting head injuries.
Okay, I've made it to the Asmodee line. I just am able to physically see copies of Black Angel, so I'm getting in line. Let's see how it goes. So can you give me the Black Angel update?
We have it.
You got an additional shipment, right?
Yes. You got one this morning.
Indeed, he did get me a copy of Black Angel. Trey, thank you very much for taking us into Gen Con.
Yeah,
with the
I apologize.
microphone.
As I got deeper into the con and was having more and more fun, the updates started getting.
Yeah,
I just kept forgetting to do them and giving you these retroactive things.
It's
but
hard to record when you're at a con. I did an episode.
I was having a great time, so I don't feel that bad.
I did an episode of our Essen trip on my old podcast,
Right.
Get Up On This, and it was a lot of work carrying around the microphone and stuff.
But it helped, right? That you had Tom who can always talk, and
Yeah, I was able to
talked
hand the mic to you
Yeah.
and Tom when we were there, and it definitely made it a lot easier. It's hard to do it on your own. Although you did have Matt Patterson, who was great.
So we're looking at a stack here.
Yeah, we're looking at a stack of games here. I sent Trey with a list of games that I would like in order of importance. He did really well. He got my top 3. Top 4, actually. I'd say he did really well. We have City of the Big Shoulders, which I'm very excited about. We will attempt to get an interview with Raymond Chandler III at some point because I would really love to talk to him about it.
Looks great.
Got Mega City Oceania, which is a strategic dexterity game from Jordan Draper, who is the designer of Tokyo Metro we'll be talking about today, as well as Michael Fox. Not Michael J. Fox, different Michael Fox. We got the Teotihuacan late pre-classic era expansion, which I'm very excited about. And then the Pièce de Résistance, Black Angel, from Sébastien Desjardins, my very favorite board game designer and designer of my favorite game of all time.
Yeah, most anticipated game probably of the last couple of years for you, I would say.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Big time. I've been anticipating this since he announced it many years ago. Yeah. They're sitting in front of me on the table. I'm very excited to have them.